How's it feel?
Feels good. Feels a lot more precise and less trenchy than we've seen in previous years.
All right, we're doing it no matter what. All right, shut up. Hey everybody, I'm Tim from Mountain Sledder. This is Tegan Dubois. Dubois. Oh, I always get it wrong. Dubois.
That's all good.
You think I'd get that? Anyways, we're here at West Yellowstone. We've just had half a day here with this Lynx DS Shredder Turbo 3900, and we just thought we'd go through a couple of talking points. It's a little hard to talk about it because we haven't spent too much time on it, but we got a little bit of time, so these are the talking points that are new. Out of all the units for 2026, this is potentially one of the most revised or redesigned, was even a word that got used in their marketing. And we've got so new steering. We've got new spindles. There's a new steering mechanism inside. There's new skis with different keel. The running boards are actually 2 centimeters higher than they were before. The whole idea is, instead of aerodynamics, there's the powder dynamic that's going on. There's a tapered tail in the back, and then smaller heat exchanger. There's also new scratchers that are supposed to send the snow up to the heat exchanger better. There's also a different skid geometry. There's progressive rear spring, which is supposed to keep the skid more parallel to the snow. So those were kind of some of the things that we were looking at. Also, the Lynx has the shortest, I think, in the mountain deep snow kind of area. It's got the shortest handlebars here, not handlebars, the riser at 90 millimeters. So that's actually pretty low. That's 3.57 inches, I believe. So I guess, Tegan, I was working the camera, but you were mostly riding it. And I mean, what are some of your initial impressions?
Yeah, so you nailed it there. The big question is, yes, we've heard about all the new changes with but how does it ride? And that's what we were here today to test out. And I think it definitely feels a lot more lighter and precise than years prior. You know, it's easier to get on edge. The taper tunnel I found big time. It's not as trenchy, and when it does, there's less hang up in the rear. We noticed that when I actually got it stuck. And before, it used to be more of an event to get it unstuck, and I actually was very impressed how I was just able to pin it out, pull it downhill, and then it actually popped out very well, which is really beneficial because, you know, we all get stuck. The other big things I noticed with it is the running boards don't hang up nearly as much as they used to. We used to find with these sleds that they used to trench quite bad, and then because the running boards were so low and wide that it would hang up quite bad. But now it's a lot better this year. I'm very impressed with the changes.
Yeah, I think, you know, trenching, like, that's a word that's associated with this brand for sure.
Yeah.
And there's no difference with the track. I asked about that. But we're definitely that geometry it looked different. But you were saying it doesn't wheelie as much, but you got it up pretty good.
Yeah.
Too. Like, it seems like she comes up pretty good.
It does. It still has the BRP wheelie that everybody loves, but it's just a little bit more dialed back onto the manageable side. I will say we are in some pretty hard pack conditions today, so it is, you know, you tend to wheelie a little bit less. So, but that's one thing to keep in mind for sure. And let's talk about the trail, Tim. On the trail up, we were really worried about the cooling because they brought the heat exchanger way back towards the seat in the tunnel. And I don't know, but I stayed cool the entire way up. I was on the Lynx, and you were on a 2025 free ride,
Yeah.
which has the old coolers. And were you ducking off? I noticed you were ducking off lots. Were you cooling the sled down?
I mean, I never actually came to an overheat, but
Yeah.
I was trying to keep it cool, yeah.
Okay, so
Like, but it was interesting because it was a cold morning and it was a pretty clamped out trail. And we were going to kind of test it. So that's kind of interesting. We didn't actually get to where you were flashing as an overheat.
no, I never even came close, actually. This is in Fahrenheit. It doesn't have the bars, from what I know. But
It probably does actually, but you had the GPS screen.
Okay.
Just pull that GPS screen over.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so back to that. It was in Fahrenheit, and I never got over like 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which is in well in the operating range. So
Oh yeah, I was at 175.
really,
Yeah, I
okay.
think I even hit 180.
Okay.
So that's
So yeah, we're seeing like a 60-degree difference in actually better cooling on the 26 Lynx. And we talked to the Skidoo guy today, and he said that, yeah, what they did with the scratchers is they redesigned it so it's the same scratcher, but where they moved it to is it kicks it onto the upper bogie, and then it actually throws it more efficiently into the cooler. So that's what we like to see. The cooling there was no issue there. I know that's going to be a big question everybody's going to ask, but no, it was actually better than the 2025 free ride.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep in mind.
And so you did, I don't think we got a bow tie, but you did some
Yep, we did one.
oh yeah, you
Yeah,
got some
got
bow
one done.
ties, got some hop overs. It is a turbo, so it's heavier
Yep.
than say, I guess an NA or an NA.
Yeah.
Who do you think would want one of these, or what do you think? Like, is it a real consideration for someone like yourself?
It really is, yeah. What I love most about the Lynx is it is such a beefy built snowmobile, and I don't know if I can say this on camera, I'm pretty hard on sleds. So looking at the way this sled is designed, this is something that it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot to wreck this snowmobile, if that's the right word for it. I pointed out to Tim in the parking lot this morning that even the ski rubbers in the front, the Skidoo in the 25 at least, has a really narrow, kind of more of a delicate ski rubber. And when I used to ride Skidoos, I used to pop those out constantly, hit a wall and your skis go like this, and both the ski rubbers would shoot out the bottom. But now with the Lynx, it has a very big, beefy ski rubber from,
Yeah.
it's not a massive part of the snowmobile, but it's something to think about. I used to keep, those ski rubbers with me. I bring one or two with me just in case. But I think with these, you wouldn't have to be as concerned. It looks like a lot better, beefier design.
Yeah. I know we're trying to be on our best behavior here. Neither Tegan and I have ever been to snowshoot. It's kind of a treat to come down here and ride the brand new sleds. So best behavior, but I know Tegan is would love to get it in the air. And I think if you love to hit air, that's kind of, Lynx is maybe the highest you're kind of looking, because that back skid is it seems pretty,
It's such
tough, right?
It's such a robust design. This sled is designed to take a hit. It might not be as precise as maybe a Summit X or a Polaris Chaos, but you can rely on putting this sled through the ringer, and I believe that it'll take it.
Yeah. So, those are some pretty great thoughts. This is the DS, so the back skid is not as tough as the RE. The RE is the tougher one. Remember, with Lynx, a good way to think, if you're thinking Summit X or Expert, is you want the DS, and if you're thinking free ride, then it's more the RE. So, but all in all, it feels like, Lynx really created a machine here. They're really going after a high-end mountain rider more than they ever have. I think that this sled is it's really comparable.
It is.
To the others on the market that, so it's definitely something you want to take a look at. Just step back a little bit. I can see a little bit of snow there, and that's something I noticed on Skidoos, just right here. But this is a revised running board too, and there's a bigger area right here, and a little bit more snow through there. See them. It's not supposed to gather as much.
Yeah.
So That's interesting. It's got the same BRP control, the 10.5 or 10.25 display. Yeah.
I think another thing to touch on that they changed this year with, I guess, across the board BRP for snow is the new steering that they designed here. The biggest thing I noticed with it that I did like was when you're in a tough spot to get the sled on edge, having that little bit more steering, I did notice it was quite a bit easier to get on edge because you can get the skis in a full counter steer rather than just like a partial, like the years prior. So I definitely did like that.
I think that has been, because remember the DS we had last year? Yeah. Or no, we had an RE last year that we tried, and it was tough. Like on that side hill, it felt like it was hard. Yeah. So I think it does turn over. Yeah. Because like you're a really good sledder, but you're not that big a guy.
No, I'm really not.
To pull it over is like, it didn't look like you were struggling.
It wasn't too bad to get it on edge, I will say that. The thing about the Lynx that I think they're working on for 2026, or they worked on, is it's massive. It's a big sled. So I think they're bringing it to a more precise, more towards the Summit X style snowmobile, less of a big beefy machine. They're bringing it down a little bit without compromising the toughness of it.
And you get the BRP power delivery is pretty. It's pretty great. It is. Really. I love it. It's just so smooth.
Yeah, they are. The power of a BRP is definitely, I'd say, top of the market for sure. But yeah, just the power delivery. It's super smooth on the bottom end. It's not too laggy, and then the high end is, they're unbelievable. The power they're pushing, and we're at 8,200 feet here in West Yellowstone. So if you're, you maybe live in the States and you're riding those really high elevations, this is where I find that the turbo it will really shine up here. You're never gonna see a power loss, a substantial power loss anyways.
I think that's pretty good. Like we talked for a long time there. Like we only, like I said, we had maybe about, really by the time we got up here, we've had up maybe 2 hours of ride time with it, and we got to try to capture with it. So really, we haven't. It's just kind of a sneak kind of peek, but definitely I think if you're shopping for a sled for 2026, and you're a mountain rider, I think you gotta give this Shredder DS a pretty hard look. Yep. I think it deserves to have all your attention. If you can get out and demo one, maybe that's probably the way to do it. Yeah, it definitely has its spot in the industry. Like we said earlier, if you're maybe a big sender, or you're just a bit more of a super aggressive rider, this is probably the snowmobile for you, honestly. It's a bit heavier than the Polaris, but it'll take the abuse. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think that's about all we can talk about for now without stumbling over our words. So we'll call that one done. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Let's go get another one. Yeah, let's go get a skidoo. See how that does.